It's frog fractions! Wait, that's not how beards work. Frog fractions! Yes, we're gonna play this today because I know it has a bit of a reputation. It's been around forever, and I really don't know what all to expect beyond that, besides the fact that they've already figured out that frog fractions 2 is a thing, which we presumably will not today, what with there being 1 hour of playtime. Anyway, frog fractions! Let's do some fractions or something. I'm a frog. Get away from my apples, you... Hey, there's a present. What is... Nope. Nope. Get out of here. Nope. You leave my... I mean, there are fractions. I was expecting 0 fractions. I was mistaken. I'm not even sure what's happening. What? I scored... What? Bug drugs? I mean... I guess we can get lock-on targeting. Helps you make a glowy red list of bugs you hate. Okay, cool. I'm locking on now. Aha! Yeah, that's much easier. Look at that. It just auto-targets. Get out of here. I'm checking my fruits like crazy. Whoa. Get out of here, bugs. No. Absolutely not. Haha. Yeah, those are all my fruits now. Turtle. Upgrade your lily pad to a turtle friend. You can ride him over to grab fruit off to the side. Put that fruit there anyway. Okay, so more fruit. We want fruit because fruit is good. Or eating bugs, which give us fractions. Oh, do we have to, like, actually catch them now? That's not fair. That's actually harder. Nope. Denied. No! The rate at which the fruit decays is a little difficult to predict. Alright, so... Wait, 8 Zorkmids? Oh, well I apparently have a ton of Zorkmids. I'm not sure where I got a bunch of Zorkmids, but I have that, I guess. I can uninstall lock-on? What? Okay. Cybernetic brain. I have a better brain now. I don't know what that means. What? I'm doing decimals? Like, not just decimals, but, you know. No! Ha! In your face. Yay, I am apparently doing this well. Okay, so we... Zorkmids. What the heck are Zorkmids? Okay. We've got static cling tongue. Okay, so we can stick the bugs together. That sounds profitable. And then we can make the fruit better and less able to be eaten. Okay, let's go with static cling tongue since... Wait. What? Good thing I'm actually fairly solid at typing. Nope, nope, nope. Well, I guess I don't have to move back and forth anymore? This game brought to you by Christopher Nolan's Tenet, I guess. Alright, so we're learning typing now, and somehow have not gotten as much fruit because we can't move back and forth to catch it anymore. What? Alright, so... I'm already... And this is only like minute 4. What is happening? Okay, so we're back into just... Oh wow, that static thing was not kidding around. Good grief! Yeah, this was money in the bank. Yes! Alright, we could get rid of the lock-on, I guess. Which, I'm not sure about the advantages there. Okay, dragon! Yes! I think. What, they shoot now? Not cool, guys. Not cool. When did this turn into a bullet hell game? Alright, well, we're still doing alright here. Our score is apparently 2.61e plus 2? I mean, I'm not a math... Wait, 25,000 fruit? Am I missing something with the fruit here? I am not picking up nearly enough fruit for that to be a reasonable number to achieve. Okay. Still getting shot at. Still not sure why. Nope. Nope. Okay, I like how they did put a little dot on him so I can see what's happening. What is indignity? I'm so confused. I guess we'll go with durians. Maybe the durians are better and will get me more fruit points. Back off, bugs. Good grief. Alright, well, the durians did not dramatically increase the amount of fruit I collect when I collect them. So, I guess we're gonna just hang for the moment? Uh-oh. Get out of here. Nosh. Is nosh even a word? That doesn't seem likely. Really? Really? Nauseate? I mean, okay. Well, we still can't uninstall the lock-on targeting. Alright, maybe this time. Lock-on targeting be gone. Good thing we've already talked about. Oh, we're getting very shot now. Alright, so it just stuns us for a little while, I assume. Unless the colors are doing something different that I haven't been able to notice. Ray bullet hell experience. Okay, we survived, sort of. I guess we'll uninstall lock-on targeting, see how that goes for us. Good thing we already talked about not having any idea what's going on in the Viceroy conversation last time, because there is a lot of not knowing what the heck is going on in this game. Which, again, from what I understand, is actually totally, like, how it's supposed to work. Woo! I do miss the lock-on, though. What? Alright, are we keeping the lock-on targeting, or are we not keeping the lock-on targeting? What's going on here? Okay. And I got bingo as an achievement. I know you can't see it because it's Kuchikobi blocking the thing, but... Is it just me, or is my dragon getting longer? Like, that may be an impolite question, but... I'd also like to ask why the durians, like... Oh no. Really? Really? Are we serious right now? Okay, we apparently need more Zork mids. I still don't know what Zork mids are. What are Zork mids and how do I get them? Whatever. Get out of here. I will eat all of you. As it is, I think I just figured out that the durians are dropping when they're yellow rather than red, which, you know, acute and eating? More math puns. Should I... Really? Like, I'm happy with the lock-on. I don't want to take it off again. But at the same time, I very much can't afford anything else. And I'm in... Not... Alright, fine, whatever. Fortunately, we don't need lock-on for typing 8-letter words. I'm also pretty sure we can't actually move, which is still disagreeable to me. Like, how am I supposed to catch that durian that's about... Annotation?! This isn't just typing, this is some fairly complex vocabulary going on here. I'd also like to point out for the record that if I spell it wrong, it's not like it just, you know, switches words. It makes you actually backspace your way to success. Oh my gosh. Really? Alright, we're locking on again. Presumably, we're just gonna, you know, take it off in the next round, but at least for now. Yep, called it. Manual targeting is more fuel efficient, and that's not the case. Okay. Darn those durians. Alright, I got that one. Darn it. Bug. I'd also like to point out that it still only counts as one fruit when I collect them, even though the numbers are apparently larger. I guess that's because of the score? I mean, I wish I could switch my score for things instead of apparently paying Zork mids for... I don't even know. Voice modulator? Do I have a voice modulator? Wait, work visa? PR department. Okay, so we have to collect them in order. That's... Alright, I guess we're doing manual targeting again. Even though it makes me sad. Like, it's a funny joke, yes, but... On the bright side, it does seem to, like, shoot through these bugs. And I can catch them on the backswing. Maybe I should be getting shot. I feel like that's the one thing I haven't tried at this point. You know, my bullet hell experience very much telling me that that's a failure state. And I could also just, like, let them do their thing and just sit here spamming fruit. Yeah, you go ahead and keep shooting, bud. I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna spam this fruit. Aha! See, I can think a little bit outside the box. You darn mosquito. Really? I just want more Zork mids. Don't we all? Don't we all? Ow. It's fine. Pretty sure they are decaying at, like, random intervals, too. It just... You know what? Get out of here. Taking back the night. Really? There's a whole nother row or column? Okay. We will free up our attention. More lock-on. More fruit. Okay, I'm really grumpy that I'm missing presents now. I think maybe that's what the Zorkmids are. I bet I accidentally collected one of them at one point. But not this time. Also, who wants to uninstall lock-on targeting again? Really? Oh, those typing classes freshman year are really paying off now. Is it weird that I actually do enjoy typing games? I feel like that's something that you really don't want to admit to, like, nope, that's something you don't want to admit publicly. Like, I know that nerd culture has become a sort of acceptable thing in its own time. Like, this is not like the early days where people would make fun of you for liking superheroes or something, but I feel like there's degrees of nerd culture that is socially acceptable, and if you like typing games, that's, you know, like, comically inept. Anyway, I guess we're gonna be locking on again. Alright, I wonder if there's a specific type of bug that drops those presents that I should, you know, be able to look out for. And guess what? We're gonna uninstall lock-on targeting again. Because of course we are. Yeah, our dragon has gotten, like, pretty substantial. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what, like, any of this means, really. I eat the bugs and I grab the fruit. That's how it goes. Frog fractions! Seriously, 25,000 fruit. And Zorkmids. I still want to know what indignity is. I want to know what all this stuff is. What is even going on? Locking on. One of these days they'll run out of space on the menu. That's my plan. I'm working against the interface. Missed another present too. You make me sad, game. Oh, shocker. Hold on, are they talking to each other? Yeah, that has nothing to do with manual targeting. Stayed in a hotel with a waffle maker? Oh, yeah, I've done that too. Like those little iron things, like they put them in the continental breakfast area, and then you like pour in the batter and turn it over. Yeah, those are great. I mean, I don't know. It isn't night at the moment, but whatever. Frozen waffles at Max's? Yeah, let's get some pancakes. Let's go to IHOP. Because that, you know, would make perfect sense in this game about, you know, waffles. What is this game about? What is this game? I tried to get both fruit and I ended up getting none. There's a lesson in there. Ow. Yes, you are still right about lock-on targeting. Thank you. What? Xerography? I don't even know what that is. I like Bespangle, though. I will not complain about Bespangle, even though it is an awkward word to type. If they start doing numbers, I'm out. That's just mean. Like, even in my freshman year, I managed to get all the letters pretty solid. I still can type pretty quickly, as should be evidenced here. But the numbers, I don't think I've ever figured out the numbers, like the number row. I'm a monster on the number pad, though. Don't touch your letters. What? So many achievements. Oh no, nuh-uh. Absolutely not. Forget lock-on targeting. Lock-on targeting is for posers, but I'm too poor to remove it at the moment. Oh. Wait, what? Apparently it took me this long to figure out that my dragon not only moves, but also, like, goes up and down. Well, that probably would have been important. Whatever. Anyway, no more lock-on targeting. Ah! Hey, there's so much fruit down here. Fruit like a billion. Well, that's convenient. Okay, I think that's enough fruit for today. Can I go elsewhere? No, can't go left or right here. Yeah, peace out, bugs. So I've apparently totally broken the fruit market. Well, this will make it much easier to warp places. Again, thinking outside the box. Really? With the lock-on targeting. Wait, I can only do one upgrade. That's a bummer. Whatever. I still have like a billion fruit. Not an actual billion, mind you, just like a billion. Come back here, present. You hurt my feelings. Oh, yes! No, come back. You jerk. They even gave me an achievement, an Enigma card. Like, there's a reason why I'm not allowed to catch them. Alright, let's warp drive. Let's do this! Let's do this! Lieutenant Hop. Apparently we're shooting asteroids now. Or no, we're dodging asteroids. I am a little grumpy about the fact that I can't shoot through asteroids. I have a feeling, though, that we will be resolving that problem shortly. Bug Mars? Yes! If we destroy the mothership! Really? Do a barrel roll? Yeah, I knew that it was coming. You cannot do anything even remotely Star Foxy without eventually getting into the do a barrel roll joke. If the internet has taught me anything... Your day has come, bugs! What was that? Ah! Hooray! To Bug Mars! No refuge. Be attitude for gains. I mean, I don't think fractions have anything to do with anything we've been doing for quite a while now. Oh no! No! Really? What? Well, yes, I'm surrounded by bugs. I think that might go over poorly in the court. I mean, I don't want to perjure myself. Let's say I'm just an amphibious. That seems... 20 years hard labor. Naturalized citizen of Bug Mars? Sure. Dutiful Bug Martian must always be vigilant. Space fruit aren't going to steal themselves. Oh, so you have stolen them. Pass a test on the history and culture of this fine... What? Commie space bugs. Yeah. Commie space bugs. Sure. Alright. I won. Because, really? Bug Jersey Shore? That reference is a bit dated. But that's okay, because, whatever. Yes! I'm rocking this. Bug and Chief, Bug Thomas Jefferson, and the Declaration of Bugs. I mean, really? The right to parade around the courtroom in only your knickers. I mean, sentient space fruit as slaves. That sounds like Thomas Jefferson. Okay. I mean, I am starting to suspect that any answer would be right, seeing as I haven't gotten a wrong one yet. Really, General Stonewall Bug Jackson? How many mecha frogs did he crush under the wheel of his Mercedes bugs? Really? I am so sorry if this is getting a little weird. Like, I mean... Sure. How do I feel about fractions? I mean, the scientific notation has been fun, and we've been dealing with that for quite a while now, but I think I do prefer fractions, so... Yes. Excellent. First perfect score our fake naturalization program has ever seen. Work visa and not getting fired into the sun. We'll go with fist pump. Novelty signature. Bartholomew Salient? Chitin donor? Yes. Alright. Mars fractions are the best fractions. I guess. Peace out, losers. I'm going to Disney World. Mars, Bug Mars, Disney World. Where the bugs are.
As conceived in 1652 by
Really?
Portuguese printing press operator Andre Felipe, boxing was a gentleman's game.
What?
Which two men would square off and regale each other with stories monotonous for days on end.
Wait, what? That's not boxing. That sounds much more like academic lectures. Was that a fish? Can I breathe underwater? Is this even water? I have so many questions. I'm glad me and my dragon friend are pals. Is that a pufferfish? I'm gonna eat the pufferfish. Nope, nope, I'm not gonna do that. Angelfish. Okay, that makes sense. What?
You can imagine his surprise when, while he was describing what he had had for breakfast that day, Andre walked up and thumped him in the neck, turning him down for the count in the parlance of the
Uh-huh. I'm not sure how I feel about the demon squid shell monsters.
Universally agreed that the boy had violated the spirit of the game. Officials were unable to find any actual rule that punching violated, and were forced to let the victory stand.
That's reasonable.
In the boxing community large enough to spill over into local newspapers, which drew the interest of many outsiders to conceal all the fuss was about. The newcomers were enthralled to engage in these borderline barbaric displays of human strength and skill.
That sounds like...
After a few sports school moms single-minded about safety couldn't become drugs.
Yep, that makes sense. School marms ruining everything, am I right? It's such a nice thing going on with people punching each other in the ground beef. can't shoot or anything while I'm down here. But there's something kind of serene about this, but I would like to think that I'm making progress somehow. The branching paths are throwing me, though. What am I missing? What's down the other path? What is this underwater world with a narrator giving us false information about boxing? Getting rather narrow. I hope my dragon isn't claustrophobic.
Today's boxing enthusiasts fantasize about a newcomer that would rock the ring the way Felipe did. Classification of the modern rule set has essentially locked the punching strategy into place. It's easy to get caught up in fantasy.
Is that submarine?
Dreams often enter the ring when they're creating new trick, usually a very to the closest. And though they've achieved the occasional victory, none of the gimmicks have been robust enough to make it complete.
That sounds fair. I mean, I'm tempted to, say that by that logic, one could just, show up with a gun and shoot your opponent. And then, hope for the best. I beg your pardon? So, we've got a Cylon, and a Cylon merperson. Merman? Alright, that was exciting.
The real wonder, though, is that Andre Felipe's original vision of boxing is still around. Gentlemen's boxing clubs can be found in cities all over the world. You can visit one most any day of the week and see two erudite gentlemen singing pleasantly in the ring. Most people only come to watch a few hours of a match and then leave. But every once in a while they find amongst their elders a stout fellow, a die-hard fan, who perhaps witnessed that historic battle between Felipe and Bishop, who for love of the sport has stayed to witness
The 17th century.
slip away, only to return to fight again another day.
I am a big fan of the sound effects right now. It's definitely somebody just making rocket noises with their mouth. Oh no. Alright, well, we're apparently playing a text game now. Rumbling seems to have stopped and you feel the intense downward pressure let up. After a moment, you calm down enough to start taking in your surroundings for the first time since the seemingly dormant vessel sprang to life. Command module. The walls of the circular room curve to meet at a point that must correspond to the curved nose of the outer hall. Lining the walls, you see a porthole, a glowing display, and a control deck. Ladder leads aft. Don't know how to get started? Type help, press enter. Let's go with that. This is a story that you interact with by entering simple English commands. Some examples. Look around. Examine ball. Inventory. Get wrench. Turn knob. Push button. Enter phone booth. That's... okay. Remember the Adventure Gamer's maxim, if it's possible to do, it must be good and wise. Yeah, that sounds right. I'm not holding anything. Okay, I'll look around then. Good thing I practiced my typing earlier. Walls of the circular room curve to meet at a point that blah 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 blah. Look out porthole? Oh. Oh. Look through porthole! Oh! That worked. Weird. Through the porthole you can see a background of stars shifting as the ship gently spins. The constellations are all unfamiliar to you. Go aft. Clamber across the ladder to the captain's quarters. It looks like an all-purpose living area. A sleeping pod sits next to a nightstand. A ladder leads to the floor. An oriental rug lies in the center of the aft wall. Look at rug. This decorative oriental rug sits in the center of the room. Looking at it more closely, it doesn't quite lay flat on the floor. There's a significant dip around the middle. Lift up rug. Oh. How about take rug? Moving the rug, you discover a recessed hatch below it. Your score has gone up by 2/5 of a point. Because of course it has. Anyway, go through hatch. Open hatch. You have to work it a bit, but after you give the wheel a few spins, the hatch pops open. Go through hatch. The engine room! Nearly every surface in this room is covered with a sticky pink goop, which seems to be thicker near a gray machine sitting in the corner. A hole in the wall exposes a nest of wires. There is a hatch leading back to the cabin's quarters to the fore. Look at wires. Peering into the exposed machinery, you see what looks like an empty coffee can that you're guessing doesn't belong there. Big coffee can. You twist the can and it eventually comes loose, but you've ripped the insulation off of an adjacent wire in the process, and it begins sparking as it comes in contact with an adjacent strut. You glance down at what you've taken. Huh, it really is a coffee can. So, I think we may have blown up the ship. That's awkward. Take wire. Yeah, I didn't figure. Inventory. I'm holding the can. Dang straight I am. Can I, like, look at what I've written before? I guess not. Look around. Pink goop. Look at goop. Thin coating. Yeah, we saw that. Well, I'm a little concerned about this whole sparking wire situation. How about move wire? Can I do that? You try to pull the wire away from nearby components, but it returns to its natural position, touching the strut. Huh. Take goop? No, not so much. I was going to use it as insulation. That was my plan. It was a brilliant plan, I think. Anyway. Go through hatch. I'm so proud of myself for discovering this hatch, but that was not terribly useful. Use sleeping pod. Can I do that? I'll have to be more specific as to what you want to do with sleeping pod. Go in sleeping pod? You can't safely sleep until you're confident you'll return to Bugmars by the end of the trip. I'm not sure I want to go back to Bugmars. Like, it was not great there. I guess we'll go to 4? Climber across the ladder. Okay, so that's the command module. Look at display. How about that? See if there are any readings. Glowing green display shows a map of the galaxy with a destination you don't recognize marked, and an ETA of about 3,000 years. Looking closer, you see 2 on-screen buttons labeled Route Details and New Destination. The screen spills forth a slew of steps such as spiral spinward at Spathi system, far faster than you can fathom, so that's not especially helpful. Press New Destination button. Nav computer dumps you into an interface so abstruse that before you can even consciously process what's happening, you've hit the back button and are at the main map again. So we're not going to change it that way, I guess. Go aft. Alright, so we found the engine room, but I don't think there's anything we can do there. We've got the coffee can. That's good. Go through hatch. Can I go through the hole? I assume not, but yeah, I didn't think so. Look at machine. How about that? Machine consists of a spigot aimed at a flat platform, a handwritten sheet of paper. Ah! Hooray! Read paper. This is the out of order note included in your game package. Oh. What? What? What a out of order note? Can I take the paper? You rip the note off, leaving a fluttering piece of electrical tape. Yes! Take the tape! I've got this! Alright. Use tape on wires. Wrap the tape around the bare wire, insulating it. Yeah! 1 2/3 points! Fist pump. Well, fine, be that way. It worked earlier. Go through hatch. Okay, we fixed the electrical thingy, so that's good. Nope. Go 4. Go for. We got this. Alright, so look at display, I guess. Press new destination button. Let's hope that we fixed it. Nope. Go aft. I've got the can and the out of order note. So read out of, well, I guess read note. Yeah, it's just the out of order note. I'm not sure why I have it, or what it's for, or how exactly the game package is going on. This is all very confusing. Look around. I mean, I'm not surprised. Look at nightstand. Maybe it's got a drawer or something. Bam! Open drawer. Thick manual. Take manual. Read manual. Manual for the navigation computer and the command module. After leafing through it, you feel confident you'll understand how to use the interface well enough to set up and route back to Bugmars. Yes! 2 1/8 point. Go for. Use display. Nope. Look at display. Press new destination button. You definitely plot a course back to Bugmars. Still not sure that's the right move, but whatever. Engines roar and you feel G-forces shift. The ETA reads 57 3/5 years. So I've been on the ship for 57 years? Run a diagnostic and determine that the vast majority of the time is going to be spent going through bug customs. That makes sense. Alright, so bug customs is quite involved. Anyway, 3 1/3 points. Go aft. Go to sleep. Your head has barely touched the pillow when an alarm begins repeating, perfume chamber empty, you will wake up cranky. You assume it's going to stop eventually, but a couple minutes later it still hasn't. You get up, there's no way you can sleep like that. Alright, so perfume chamber? Is that the engine room? Go aft? Is that perfume the pink goop? I mean, look at machine. Turns. Okay, there are buttons and a lever. Use lever. Pull lever? Oh my, the machine whirs, dispensing mom's specialty. Pink goop streams out of the faucet, splashing against the flat platform and getting everywhere. A couple drops land in your mouth and you recognize the flavor of bacon milkshake. Alright, so we found the food dispenser, I suppose. Atmospheric anomaly detected, a different voice says. A whirring sound ensues and the bulk of the goop is sucked into invisible vents, leaving just enough goop floating around to be gross and annoying. Atmosphere purified, the voice says triumphantly. Okay, so that takes care of the goop, I guess. Look at machine. Press buttons. Raised button clicks into place and the previous selected button pops up. Local currency, says a robotic voice. What? Press the other button. Oh, okay. I get it. We're toggling. Pull lever. I'm gonna get all the money now. A thick stream of Zork mids. Yes! Now we have the Zork mids. Give me all them Zork mids. Yes! 1/3 of a point in your face, this game. Okay. Inventory. We have lots of Zork mids. Alright, so did we successfully solve our problem? Nope. Go to sleep. Alright, so that wasn't the perfume. Go for. Look at display. Alright, so go aft. Apparently that's done. Go aft. I thought we took care of this goop problem. Alright, so... Hatch leading back, blobs of sticky pink goop. Take goop? Can we do that now? Can't get a meaningful amount just by collecting loose goop. Put goop in can? Nope. Alright, let's look at machine. Press button. Pull lever. More pink goop. So that just puts us right back where we were. What has been in my inventory? We got the can, we got the note, we got the manual, we got the Zork mids. Which, man, if I had only had these Zork mids earlier. All those delicious upgrades. What a bummer. Anyway, I have no idea what to do at this point. I feel like I have done all of the things. What is this perfume issue? Alright. Go aft. Nope, go forward. Back to the captain's quarters. Look at sleeping pod. Sleeping pod looks like a bed with a lid, but you have to assume it's got some sort of suspended animation functionality. There's a hole on top, next to a gauge reading empty. Alright, I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to be putting some goop in the hole. So we're going to wake up smelling like bacon, I suppose. We just have to figure out how to collect goop. Okay, so open can. Can doesn't have a lid. Even better. Go aft. Put can on under spigot. Yes. Pull lever. Mostly gets everywhere, but the coffee can does end up filled. That's right. Go aft. Nope, go forward. I am apparently getting easily lost in this 3-room spaceship. Put goop in sleeping pod. Yes! Go to sleep. Lie down in the sleeping pod, close the lid, and drift off, secure that in 57 and something years you'll return to Bugmar as a wealthy frog. When you wake up, you're clearly not in your sleep pod. That's awkward. You blearily glance around to get your bearings, and you appear to have been sleeping on a heart-shaped bed covered with roses. I am so sorry if this gets a little prurient. A voice comes from the next room. Awake already? A wispy human figure in a bathrobe and crown walks in. Am I the Frog Prince? She bends over and kisses you on the nose, and suddenly you feel your body shifting. Yay! She laughs and claps, and you realize that you've been transmogrified into human form. It would appear that I am the Frog Prince. What? Really? I am now a human and can't do anything about bugs with my tongue. Although I do have like a billion Zork mids, so there's that. Oh. You awake with a start. What a horrible dream. You call your friend Draggy the Flying Dragon just to talk to someone. So, apparently that was a horrible nightmare, and we should never do that. YOLO, Draggy says. I just had the worst nightmare. You explain the situation. I'm not sure that a support group for human bug eaters is really going to get much of a following, Draggy ponders. Maybe if we drummed up a little publicity first. I know just the PR agency. 5 minutes later, Draggy shows up at your door dressed to the nines. He tosses a frog tuxedo at you. Put this on, babe. We're running for president. Really? I may be a frog? Are we going to Dance Dance Revolution our way through this now? I am not good at this. I am very bad at this, actually. I used to be okay at these games, but I am not anymore. I am not at all. I am just gonna apparently fail miserably at this stage of the game. Yep, I am failing very hard. Constituency loves an underdog. You're a shoo-in for president despite failing so badly. What? Oh my gosh, we're doing the West Wing. Sir Clarence Gastropod. I assume we're doing the West Wing? If there's another reference here, I apologize for not picking up on it, but I'm pretty sure this is West Wing. It's the courtroom! Darn it, Flaps McQueen! It's a mockery of justice. And introducing Draggy Ceiling Eater as himself. What a class act. Numerators and denominators! Yep, this is happening, folks. Cost to produce bug porn, 10,000 Zorkmids per megabyte. 0? No bug porn for me, please. Don't worry, this interface is temporary. Bug software engineers are hard at work on Bug Excel 98. How many pop-up banner ads? I don't know. 1? What price do you wish to charge for a megabyte of bug porn? Okay, so what? I'm making and selling bug porn? Is that the primary responsibility of the leader of this planet? The in-house bug porn musician decided to make Bug Motown today. Nobody's quite sure what to make of it. He made 0 megabytes of bug porn at 10,000 a megabyte. You sold 0 megabytes of bug porn at 1,000 a megabyte. Budget 15,000 GDP. Well, that was bad. Let's not do inflation. Finally, I can. Right, I've already got the dance shoes and the work visa and the PR department and bug drugs. I do not have enough for bug drugs, though. It would appear that that would cost all of the money that I have. Why are we still talking about the lock-on targeting? Alright, so, hot and dry. Cost to produce bug porn, 10,000 Zorkmids per megabyte. Alright, I guess if you want to make money, you gotta spend money, huh? 5 megabytes. Alright, it costs 10,000 Zorkmids per megabyte, so pop-up banner ads. Do you want to purchase 2? Yep, thank you. I mean, how do I make a profit in this situation? Sure. Gave your product a thumbs up. Everybody wants to see. Yes! Bugs marveled at your low prices. Kept coming to your door long after you ran out of porn. Okay. We're in the black, folks! No inflation. Inflation is bad for everyone. Drugging the water supply will pacify delinquent bugs, keeping them out of the streets and out of trouble, and not coincidentally staying home and watching bug porn. We'll hold off on that, because that's like all of our money right now. An outbreak of frog STDs and... oh my. I am so sorry if the G-rated audience that I usually expect for this show is being alienated by the direction that this game has taken. Again, I have no idea how we got here. Anyway, Let's talk about bug porn some more. Somehow, the cost for bug porn has gone up. So, alright, I feel fairly confident in my ability to make bug porn at this point. I guess. Let's go with 50. We'll go with 3 pop-up ads. And we're gonna charge my usual 30 grand. Yeah. Bug drum and bass. Oh, well that was a horrible, horrible error. Yup, that was rough. Alright, so we sold 12. We made some progress. We're still gonna trust, yeah, no inflation. We're definitely staying off the inflation. Alright. Oh, now they've got to stay inside. Thunderstorms. Okay. Do I still get to keep the bug porn I made last time? Alright, let's keep it down a little. Keep the ads coming. And keep my prices standard. Oh no, sensors! Oh, but they bought it all. Woo! Rock my world. Alright, that was remarkably successful. I mean, I feel like now is the time. We could just very much ratchet up our prices. We have 235 sitting around. Alright, let's do this. Bug drugs in the water supply. Our government is incredibly untrustworthy and corrupt. Okay, so we need lots of bug porn. Let's go with 15, because I think that's about as much as I can afford. 1 ad. Let's ratchet up those prices, baby. No, we're going all the way. All the way! Superb performances. Oh, the warehouse burned down. No! Alright. The time has come. Let the inflation come! Well, now we have quite a few Zork mids. Alright, gotta watch out for that hot and dry bug weather, apparently. Bug printing press operators? Oh, great. Darn unionization. I guess we'll make 5, 10, maybe? That's 150,000. We can handle that at the moment. Darn it! The pop-up ads are more expensive now, too. Confound this! Of course. Bug Christian rock? Ugh. Alright, but it worked, so yes. Woo! Progress. I guess we'll just make a little more. I mean, I could just, like, print 3 million and spend it on my satellites, I guess. Shrinkage. Residential swimming pool. Okay, that's cool. What? Cloudy. Alright, let's make us some more porn. 20. 3 banner ads. It's an understandable error. Yes! Sell it! Yes! Look at all that profit. Heck yes. Alright. We're making real money now. No, we're confident. Yep, bring it on. Yes! Thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are good. Okay, we could theoretically make up to 100. We're gonna stop at, I guess, 75. Do this right. I am doing my math correctly, yes. 3 banner ads. Give it the full package. Rock my world, let's do this! Oh no. Indie rock. No! Ah! Confound it. You know what? I do what I want! What could go wrong? Yes, indeed. That poor sucker. I guess we can't do the... Alright, no, the padlock... Oh, okay, I got it. That was cute. The lock is the thing that you're buying. Yep, I got it. Alright, so... Okay. What could go wrong? Let's go with 50, I guess. 3. Bring our prices down a bit. Really? Stupid warehouse burning down. Darn it. Whatever. Hooray for inflation. Bring on the satellite. Can't stop me now. Yeah, let's keep it down. These thunderstorms aren't coming around that frequently. Ah! So, how about that frog fractions? Let's recap. So, I had some idea what I was getting into by playing frog fractions. Like, I vaguely knew upon starting up the game that it was what Extra Credits has once called an unfolding game, i.e. that there's more to it than meets the eye, that there are multiple mechanics that are layered in that you sort of unlock as you progress. And honestly, I think Frog Fractions was one of the earliest games to sort of tinker with those mechanics and set the stage for a lot of games like the clicker games, or, you know, games like Pony Island or Evoland or DLC Quest that very much mix up the mechanics on a regular basis. And the fact that it showed up on Steam a couple weeks ago as a free-to-play title just sort of drew me to it. It seemed like a good opportunity, and this seemed to be the perfect forum to sort of tinker with it. If you have not heard of Frog Fractions, its legacy is fairly deep and wide-ranging. Back in the day, like, Frog Fractions players were scouring the internet for more and more levels of meta context and sort of greater depth to the game, only to find, you know, finally through some sort of geocaching thing that there was going to be a Frog Fractions 2, which turned out to be even bigger and even crazier and even, like, this game has been around for a long time, and it has done a lot of pioneering as far as that's concerned. So, how do we deal with this is kind of the question that I'm most interested in sort of tackling today. Like, how do we square the 1 hour of game that I did in fact play, and how do we sort of gauge and appreciate this whole phenomenon that it has caused? Like, at this point, I don't even know how old the Frog Fractions series. I do know that there is apparently a third game, or will be, or something. My research is insufficient because, frankly, that rabbit hole is so deep that if I got started, I would just keep going forever. And it's very much beyond the scope of this sort of show. What's more, this may have been a bad choice for our show today, because it is this big, sprawling game that is all about development and change and sort of evolution as you go along, getting 1 hour really doesn't do any justice to what's happening. But I've never been one to, balk at the idea of playing a game wrong. And the fact of the matter is, I think we need to play games wrong from time to time. If only to sort of question our assumptions about them, question their place in, quote, the canon for what that's worth in video game circles. It's complicated, and I'm eager to sort of poke this bear and see what happens. So let's jump right into our usual sets of questions, as inappropriate as they may seem at the moment. First off, what was good and what was bad? Obviously, the good thing, the thing that has brought people to Frog Fractions, the thing that has sort of kept people playing Frog Fractions for well over a decade at this point, is the mystery. That's what this game did very well, is, that initial confusion gives way to unlocked layers of depth. The mechanics keep shifting, the game genre keeps shifting, the way that you interact with the game keeps shifting. Just in the course of an hour, we played the whole Frog Fractions shoot the bugs with your tongue thing, which developed into the bullet hell thing, which became the, then we went underwater and found the fruits, and then went up into space and flew to Bug Mars, and then we had the trial scene and the, resultant air moving through the underwater while some guy narrated to us about a fictional history of boxing, and then we had a text-based adventure game, and then we were in this presidential, there was a Stepmania thing in there for a moment, the DDR thing, and then we hit something like 7 or 8 genres in the course of an hour. And I can only anticipate that we would hit 7 or 8 more genres in the next hour, and more. There's just something wild and unpredictable about that. And that's exciting, that's interesting, that's engaging. Not knowing what's coming is a good thing in this case. We talked in our last video about the Viceroy that, confusion isn't necessarily a bad thing if you trust the developer, if you, feel comfortable, if you are making progress from moment to moment. And that's the great thing about Frog Fractions, you kind of are making progress from moment to moment. You're always doing something different. The minute you get bored is the minute that everything changes so dramatically that it gives you a whole nother game, a whole nother set of confusion, a whole nother excitement, and that keeps you going. And that's what's always been the hallmark of Frog Fractions. That's very much the selling point on this game. It's why I wanted to try it out. But, and this is a fairly large but in this particular case, I'm not sure they all work. Let's be honest, the little shooting the bugs with the tongue thing is pretty cool, but, it's not a terribly robust game mechanic. It's a little tedious, it's a little annoying. Having the dragon around to give us all the fruit was especially helpful, and I don't know what the deal was with clicking on the upgrades and, put on the lock-on, take off the lock-on, put on the, that was amusing, but, not terribly entertaining in its own right. I think the idea was it was supposed to sort of kick you and make you think outside the box, think maybe I can ride this dragon in places I wouldn't normally. That's cool. That works. But at the same time, a lot of the games we played were not all that fun. That's the thing. Any game that you play that tinkers with its mechanics in this way, that works against the fourth wall in this way, your Evo lands, your DLC quests, your Pony Islands, the hexes, and your Frog Fractions, obviously. The risk of doing a lot of different things is that you probably aren't going to do any one of them terribly well. And usually that's okay. If you are switching it up regularly enough, then a lousy game mechanic isn't going to get in the way of the overall experience. The fact that you didn't enjoy the text-based adventure game will not interfere with the fact that you're still eager to figure out what's coming next, what's going to happen after I solve this puzzle. And I am just extremely glad that they didn't gate off progress with the whole Dance Dance Revolution Stepmania thing, because I would have failed miserably, and I would have been stuck there pressing those arrow keys for the rest of time. And that hour would have been fairly unpleasant. But that's what I'm getting at here. The good thing is they're switching up the mechanics regularly. The bad thing is that the mechanics aren't always great. There are two sort of... This is sort of opposite to the way that indie games usually work. Like, your typical indie title is going to have one really interesting mechanic polished to a mirror shine. Like your big $60 AAA games, they can afford to tinker around, play in the sandbox, introduce a bunch of mechanics and work on them all studiously, carefully, and incorporate them all into this big overarching experience. So if you play a Call of Duty game, you are guaranteed really polished shooting, and also a really polished turret section, and maybe one of those, top-down missile launching bits, like from the Modern Warfare 4, or the Modern Warfare the First. You can bet that there will be sniper levels and stealth levels and, action-y levels, and that all of those will be very carefully done and very expertly created. But when you're doing something like Frog Fractions, which is very obviously a studio with much more limited resources, yes, all of the gameplay, all of the mechanics could be immediately engaging, but you gotta move off of them quickly, or else the player's going to start to notice how flimsy they are. One of the reasons why I keep coming back to games like Pony Island, as opposed to games like DLC Quest or Frog Fractions, which are kind of a one and done for me, is because Pony Island manages to make its mechanics part of something bigger. It's part of this overall story that is, itself engaging on this metatextual level. You're not just interested to see where the game throws you next, but you're also interested in the dynamic between your character and, Satan the programmer. You're interested in the thematic content. You're interested in the story it's telling. So if I have a major criticism of Frog Fractions, it's that it lacks that through line. It is just, let's play minigames. Let's see where the mechanics take us next. Let's see what new weird thing the developer is going to throw at us. So, if we're going to move on to the next section, let's talk about what we learned here. Again, I think the obvious thing that we're picking up on is, if you've got all of these mechanics, you have to move off of them quickly, not gate off content, not block progress. And while, here it gets a little bit tricky, because I would say that, you can't block progress, you can't, stop people from going on, but I think that that's also kind of relative in this case. I'm thinking especially of the little adventure games section. The puzzles weren't terribly difficult. I think it only took me 15-20 minutes to get through the whole area, to figure out, put the goop in the can and to put the goop in the sleeping pod. All of that was pretty straightforward. But it's important to notice, too, that I'm not participating as part of the community here. Frog Fractions was a living entity in its own right, and playing it again in this sort of hermetically sealed environment just 1 hour on Steam is not the way it was designed to work. You are supposed to look up solutions. You are supposed to, rely on the community for support. If you are blocked, that's okay, because somebody has made it beyond. There are always those footprints in the snow ahead of you on the mountain. So if you're encouraged to interact with the other members of the community, figure out how to do things, where to go from here, how to break the cycles that you're stuck in, all of that. And I think that that's an important component that is kind of missing from the new fancy Game of the Decade Steam edition. It is a relic of the past, and that's okay in its own right. It's important for historical purposes, absolutely. We don't want to lose these games, especially since if you go to the website, it's oh, sorry, Flash is not a thing anymore, so you can't do anything. That's a bummer, and it's important to sort of preserve these things, especially because it is so significant to the history of gaming as it's developed. You can definitely trace, the roots of something like Pokemon Go all the way back to Frog Fractions. But I think the other thing here is... I think the other thing that we need to watch out for when we are designing games like this is... I hesitate to call it, I don't know. I'm going to definitely sound like an old person right now, so I apologize in advance. It was internet-y, if that makes sense. Like, I am always a bit of an outsider when it comes to internet culture. Like, I don't do memes. And I know that that's, like, in certain circles, saying I don't do memes is virtually comparable to saying I don't eat, or I don't, breathe. Like, of course I do memes. Like, how can you avoid them? They're the bread and butter of the internet. They're all around us. Like, it binds and penetrates us. It keeps the universe together. Like, obviously, they are more complicated than that. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is not so much that I don't do memes, is that I don't necessarily understand the appeal. Frog Fractions is rooted in internet culture, and specifically internet culture of the time of its creation. Like, we all saw the Snooky Jersey Shore reference, which would have been cute like 10, 12 years ago, and has very much not anything that, contemporary audiences would have understood or identified with. Frog Fractions will not appeal to the young people of today the way that it appealed and was transgressive and edgy in the time of my generation sort of hanging out on the internet. Oh man, we're going to do a treatise on the internet, aren't we? And just internet culture altogether. I did not sign up for this. I just wanted to play a video game and upload it onto YouTube, but here we are. Okay, so the internet is weird. Let's start there. The internet has always been weird. It is very easy to get into pockets. And I know that people talk now about like political echo chambers and how like all of your friends on Facebook have the same political allegiance as you. That's part of what I'm getting at here. But it's more than just politics. It's culture. Like, one of the things that people have noticed, especially people of my generation, which I speak as an borderline elder millennial, I feel like an elder millennial at the very least. The computer was something that came home in my household, which I realize is kind of like the supposed experience cutoff point. Like, I remember in kindergarten learning to use computers back when it was like Windows 3.1. The internet was something that I used to go to do, and eventually became a thing that I was familiar with, and eventually became a thing I relied upon. But as a result, when I look at the internet, I look at it as a bit of an outsider. Not something that's always been around, not something that I need to survive, something that is frequently convenient, occasionally troublesome, and something that I can turn off. Which I know is not the experience that many of my listeners are going to have. For many of you, you live, eat, and breathe internet. Like, it is just the stew in which you sit. But what I want to emphasize here is that the internet's development, the internet's changes, the internet as a thing is always moving. What is popular today will not be popular tomorrow and will be completely forgotten by the day after. What is trending today will be completely lost in half an hour, 45 minutes. It moves that fast. Like, to the point that there's all those stories about people who were, like, canceled on Twitter while they were on a flight, like, for 12 hours, didn't even realize that they were, being canceled until they landed and figured out that, all hell had broken loose. I have a feeling that if I was ever popular enough to be canceled and was in fact canceled, I wouldn't even notice, like, for a week. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I am a D-list YouTuber at best with a modestly successful lecture series that I make no money off of. I am not, a internet personality, at least not now. Like, if in fact you're listening to this in 10 years and I am in fact very successful, we can reevaluate, but until then, not a thing. And that means that I'm not up to date. Like, I'm not terribly interested in what the kids are talking about these days. And part of that is because the internet is subdivided. My generation, we very much had our memes, we had our I Can Has cheeseburger, we had our, chocolate rain and our Jersey Shore references, as Frog Fractions points out. But I suspect, as much as those references are in fact dated now, and we recognize that they are in fact dated now, in a strange sort of way, they are still current. Because, we elder millennials or I don't even know, early millennials, we kept going. Like, we didn't change what we liked. We are still on about Transformers, and we are still on about 90s movies, like Independence Day or The Mummy. We are still excited about the same stuff we were excited about 10 years ago and 20 years ago and even 30 years ago in some cases. And as a result, our meme vocabulary has not changed either, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know what contemporary 20-year-olds here in 2021 are talking to each other about. I don't know the references. Sometimes I pick it up in class. Like, I find out that, half my students are really into Black Mirror or something. It comes up. But at the same time, that's not my language, if that makes sense. And that's what memes are at the end of the day. It's a common language. It is a way of communicating with each other. My wife sends Parks and Rec memes and gets community memes in return. Or, somebody shares a Seinfeld meme or a Friends meme. Like, these are part of our shared heritage, our common language. This is how we elder millennials communicate with one another. Likewise, I would expect today that people are communicating using contemporary memes, a new language, so to speak. But at the same time as that is happening, we are still communicating in our language. We're still talking about Ocarina of Time when the new generation has moved on to Breath of the Wild. We are still talking about Independence Day and Pirates of the Caribbean when the new generation is totally oblivious to those properties being at all valuable because the more contemporary movies have really not been great. Instead, they are all about, the Marvel movies or the DC extended universe or whatever the case may be. And while we elder millennials are aware of those things as well, we are also communicating to each other using those memes. It's not the same. It's not as immediate. It's not as ingrained in us, I guess I want to say. The echo chamber of political discourse is a symptom of the larger series of echo chambers that is culture, now that the internet has both, brought us all together into this one common space, but also allowed us to subdivide ourselves into increasingly small and distinct groups. Like, I actually get really excited when I manage to break down a wall on one of those groups. Like, lately I've been watching the ContraPoints videos, which has given me an insight into trans culture that I have never been aware of up until this point, but which, is very much an important and thriving part of the internet. Ian Danskin, who I follow religiously because of his political views and his insights into the way that the alt-right and the internet work, just released a video of, the 30 things that got him through the pandemic, and I was like, I haven't heard of any of this stuff. And on the one hand, I feel alienated as a consequence. Like, I feel like I am separate from that whole world, that whole entity. On the other hand, I'm okay with that. There's only so much I can take in. And the world is producing this content, for lack of a better term, at this breakneck pace, unprecedented. Netflix is always airing a new movie. Artists are always releasing new albums. Books are being dropped so frequently that, I can keep up with every publisher I want and not be able to know what anybody is doing at any given moment. And half of the posts that I see from, the New York Times, I've never heard of any of the writers or any of the titles, and that's not from lack of trying. The world is huge right now. It is overwhelmingly large. And it is impossible to keep up with it all. And I think what I'm trying to get at in this whole long diatribe about the internet and me shaking my stick at the kids on my lawn is a game like Frog Fractions relies on that breakneck pace, on that discovery, on that, niche audience that is all aboard with what you're doing. And doesn't age well as a consequence. Like, I remember the days of Newgrounds. I absolutely remember all those Flash games that you could access from, a given website. We would definitely play them while people weren't looking at school when we were, supposed to be doing our typing, or when we were on the internet in the computer lab for some reason. I remember sitting at home playing, early versions of Super Meat Boy, or, ridiculous games about trying to kill yourself as quickly as possible. Like, Frog Fractions as a Flash game was definitely in that vicinity. But there was something very transitory about all that, ephemeral. It disappeared quickly. And it was kind of designed to, I think. The fact that we have a game that is in fact an important part of our gaming collective history, a game that did in fact, pioneer whole genres and approaches to game design, that was very much located in its specific moment in time, with its Jersey Shore references, with its sort of adolescent, comical, tongue-in-cheek attitude towards bug porn. There's something both endearing about that and something kind of off-putting about it. It's out of sync with experience, with time. It doesn't offer us something substantial, is what I guess I'm trying to say. Something that endures. And maybe it doesn't have to. Maybe, it's just me, the philosopher academic, with my shelves on shelves of books by old, dead white dudes that's ultimately biased in favor of the eternal or, the enduring. But I feel that it does lack something as a consequence. I feel like its value is seriously diminished by being removed from its time, by being separated, codified, hermetically sealed, mummified, as Nietzsche would say, rather than allowed to live and to die in its own moment. Which, there's some heavy-duty existential navel-gazing to be done when you start opening up that can of worms. Suffice it to say, for our purposes, because we do not have the time or space to go into that here, suffice it to say that there is a limit. Like, if you appeal to the moment, you will be stuck in the moment. If you make a game that is all about novelty, all about excitement, all about, getting to the next new thing, exploring and discovering and, just forget this moment, don't worry about how good the mechanics are, we're going to move on in 2-3 minutes, eventually it's going to age poorly. It's not going to hold up. It wasn't designed to hold up. The whole thing is a consumable experience. It was made that way. The great thing about those indie games that instead focus on the one mechanic, polish it to a mirror shine, is that they perfected it. They got it right. Nothing will ever replace something like Baba Is You, or Transistor, or even Cave Story Plus. Like, those games achieved something that required not just a sort of ingenuity, a recognition of novelty, or, an idea that nobody had ever had before, but had in fact put in the work, like, had in fact created something of lasting artistic merit and value. Whereas I'm not sure Frog Fractions does. I think it was a good idea in the same way that Marcel Duchamp sticking a toilet on display at the Académie Française was a good idea. But we don't go to see Marcel Duchamp's fountain because of its construction. It is, at the end of the day, still a toilet. The point is important. What Frog Fractions did was important. What Frog Fractions is probably isn't so much. So when it comes right down to the big question, am I going to play it some more? No. And I feel weird saying that. Like, it is interesting. It is mysterious. It is an important part of gaming history, but, after an hour, I was already tired of it. Like, not just because I was stuck on the bug porn thing and it was kind of gross and churlish and silly, but because I didn't care. I didn't have anything to invest in. This wasn't a big mystery to me. This wasn't some exciting, new, edgy, weird, interesting take on what video games could be. Like, I've seen this before. I've seen it done better. I've seen Pony Island do it better. I've seen even DLC Quest do it better. Like, I've been here before. And the thing about, just having the idea and exploring it in its sort of rudest, most basic form without trying to polish the mechanics, without trying to turn it into something unique and different and very much an expression of your own artistic sentiments, it is at the end of the day just a novelty. It is just for consumption. You watch it, you play it, you get through it, and then you're done, and you forget about it, and it doesn't matter anymore. What mattered was what it did. Like, the people who were invested in it, the people who cared about this, the people who interacted with each other over this. Like, it's great as a story. There was this game. It radically, shifted from moment to moment. People got really into it. It turns out that there was this whole alternate reality game surrounding it. You got to discover the sequel through a geocache. Like, that's a cool story. That's a great moment in gaming history. But it's not a great game. Like, it's done now. Geocache was found. Like, maybe one day they'll set up a monument and say, here was the original geocache. The secret that Frog Fractions 2 was going to be a thing. But without that, I don't think there's much to this experience anymore. So, I'm good. It was fun. We played for an hour. It was a pretty good time. Not going to play anymore. It's weird. But we have to, choose our time more carefully. Look for things that are more edifying. Something that informs me as not just, a gaming historian, but as a person. Like, ain't nobody got time for the late 2000s anymore. It's the 2020s. Things have changed. So, I hope that wasn't too existentially horrifying, reflecting on the mortality and transitoriness of all things. Just another day in the life of the first hour, I suppose. Next week, maybe something a little bit less existentially depressing? Question mark? But I think this was an interesting discussion all the same. Like, I think that this was an interesting experience to have. Staring into the void as all things on the internet fade away. I think it's a good reminder, honestly. Like, it's easy to get caught up in the frog fractions of the moment and fail to realize that it's all gonna change soon. We're all going to stop being frog president and go on to the next thing. So, if you enjoyed this discussion, if you want more existential meandering about weird decade-old video games, then by all means, like, share, subscribe. Please visit my website, Professor Kozlowski at WordPress.com, or visit the Video Game Academia website, which there will be links about either in the video or in the description. Feel free to email me, profbkozlowski2 at gmail.com. We will have, hopefully, more to come in the coming weeks. Good luck. Hope you enjoy your gaming. Godspeed.